So good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
It's my pleasure to welcome you here today, and it's another great day for Weehawken and for particularly the Weehawken Library. It's my pleasure to turn the program over to the Chairperson or President of our Historical Society, Sherman.
Thank you all for coming. Mayor Turner, councilpersons, members of the Alexander Hamilton Awareness Society, that mouthful, and the library board members. Thank you all for joining us on the Sunday just before the 213th anniversary of the duel between Alexander Hamilton and Aaron Burr. The name Hamilton has always figured importantly in the history of Weehawken. We have a Hamilton Avenue, a Hamilton Plaza, Hamilton Park. We had a Hamilton School, and we even had a Hamilton National Bank. I'll tell you more about that later. And of course, there's the Hamilton Monument, which has a long and unusual history. The first memorial to this great statesman was located directly on the dueling site and was erected by the St. Andrew Society of New York in 1806. A boulder on the site that was believed to have been the one on which Hamilton had rested his head after being shot by Burr was brought up to the top of the Palisades to the current location of the monument on Hamilton Avenue. In the early memorial was created, which included a bluestone pier with a stone bust of Hamilton perched on top of that sandstone boulder with a bronze plaque attached to it. The plaque read, "Upon this stone rested the head of the patriot and soldier Alexander Hamilton after the duel with Aaron Burr fought July 11, 1804. The bust remained in place until 1934 when it was vandalized in a political act during the November election and thrown over the Palisades. At that point, sculptor Giovanni Rapetti was asked to provide a bust of Hamilton. The monument remained as it was then until the 1980s when the bronze plaque that was on the boulder was stolen. So a shortened version was chiseled into the indentation left by the plaque in the boulder. Then in the early 1990s, the entire monument area was refurbished and the beautiful bronze was placed atop a granite pedestal and looks the way we know it today. Giovanni John Rapetti was born in Como, Italy in 1862. As a teenager, he studied sculpture in Florence and later in Milan. At the young age of 22, he was invited to his first showing outside of his native Italy during the Paris International Exposition of 1884. Surely a great honor for such a young sculptor. And what sculpture did he exhibit? You might guess, and you might be correct. It was Alexander Hamilton. So very early in his life, he felt a connection to 1910. The family moved to Weehawken and lived on 2nd Street, which is today's 46th Street. They lived at number 38 46th Street. Rapetti unfortunately died of a heart attack about a year later after completing the bust. Now on to the present connections. I was contacted last summer by a Dr. Romeo Cabayas, who had spoken to Nicole Scholet de Villavicencio, is that right? Villavicencio, the Vice President of the Alexander Hamilton Awareness Society, about a bronze sculpture of Alexander Hamilton by John Rapetti that had belonged to his uncle. He was trying to find more information about it and perhaps a new home for it. Nicole had also emailed me about the sculpture and in researching, thought it was a bust created in 1925 for the Hamilton National Bank, which was located here in Weehawken and issued currency from approximately 1926 until 1935. According to our records, the newly constructed 3-story bank had opened on January 18, 1926. But then the Depression hit hard, and by 1942 it was sold to the Commonwealth Merchants Trust Company of Union City. The bank is located at 3522 Park Avenue, which is now the current site of the Wells Fargo Bank. So that building is the same building. The bust is signed John Rapetti and dated 1925. It seems possible that the same cast used for this 1925 bust for the bank was reused for the bronze on Hamilton Avenue, though there are some differences between the two in the collar, the hairline, and the sideburns. You can check that out when you look at the statue tomorrow or Tuesday. According to 1935 newspaper accounts, there seems to have been a third bust that might have been the original from which these two have plaster casts made. The original was bought for the Hamilton School, which was demolished in 1938 to make way for the Weehawken High School. We're not sure what happened to that particular sculpture. Here's the story of how Hamilton ended up in Jackson, New Jersey, according to Romeo Cabayas. While working as a contractor around 1970, his uncle was involved in the inside demolition of the bank building, 3522 Park Avenue. He found the Rapetti bronze in the building, and nobody seemed interested. Passed away last year, the house was sold, and the bust went to his daughter, Marion Miller, and her brothers in Richfield. We invited them to come today, but unfortunately they were unable. How appropriate for us to have this beautiful Hamilton bust back in Weehawken, where it was created, and where its creator lived for so many years.
So we're going to do the unveiling in a few seconds. I just want to thank everybody for being here and thank the Society for all their participation. You know, since the play Hamilton, we get many, many more people coming up to look at the monument and go to Hamilton Park. So this has been a great addition. And up until Lauren and some of the others uncovered Mr. Rapetti, we had no idea how famous he was at the time. You know, we didn't even know. I don't even think most of the town knew that he did the Soldier Sailors or the World War I Memorial. Sometimes we call it the Soldier Sailors Memorial. So it's a very famous individual, and my compliments to everyone for rescuing this bust of Alexander Hamilton. So I thank you all very much. And so we're going to move this bench, and if Rand and Marvin, council. Ready? Back a little bit higher. Come on. Ready? Look forward. 1, 2,